Hi everyone, welcome to your pick-a-pile reading. Today we're finding out what does the future hold. And if you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. But in case you subscribe, I upload my new pick-a-pile videos on Sundays. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, the link is in the description. But that being said, here we have pile number 1, which is the Kawaii Tarot, pile number 2, which is the Robin Wood Tarot, and then pile number 3, the Solabusca Tarot. But with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a little bit more time to pick a pile, and then I'm going to get started with pile number 1. All right. All right. Hi to those of you guys who chose pile number 2. I'm just going to take this moment to remind you guys to leave a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel, and I like to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But your overall energy here, we have the Fool card, which is a very wonderful energy to have as your overall energy. I'm actually going to go ahead and lower the light a little bit just because I find that it helps to, with these cards in particular. But you guys have the Fool card here as your overall energy, which means that you're going into some pretty new, powerful beginnings. And I think that for a lot of you guys, like, especially with like this 10 of Pentacles, are going to see a lot more stability and a lot more powerful energy coming in right now. I feel like right now you're in a weird state, especially here with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It feels like you guys are sort of lacking a little bit of that stability, right? And it's very interesting because we have here the King of Wands and the King of Cups, but the King of Cups is in reverse. And it's very, I don't want to keep saying very interesting, but like, it almost looks like these two cards are looking dead at each other, right? And I hope it comes through in the video, okay, but they're smiling at each other, right? So that leads me to believe that it's like these two people have kind of like a fake face on. It's almost as if there's two people in the situation. The King of Wands may refer to a fire sign such as Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, and then we have the water signs with the King of Cups, which are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So it's almost like these water and fire sign people are staring each other down, kind of like butting heads, and I feel like that's causing some kind of a friction here. With this Two of Swords, we have indecision, and I feel as if you guys are... Well, it's indecision and stalemates also. So I feel like the fact that there's sort of this conflict of these two people that are looking at each other, that they won't really budge. And it's like, very like condescending, very petty kind of energy, because I really do see that they're kind of like smiling at each other. It feels like you're stuck in the middle. You're kind of like in between a rock and a hard place right now, and you just want to get to this stability, this happiness, but then there's this conflict over here. And like, I know that this is the Seven of Wands, but it almost feels like the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands being competition, being strife, being conflict, being arguing. That's kind of how it feels, not gonna lie, but I do feel like a lot of this negative energy is offset by the fact that we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool, because the Wheel of Fortune is very cyclical in nature, right? I always think of what comes up must come down, and the fact that we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse here leads me to believe that you guys are sort of suffering from the coming down part, right? But, you know, the truth of the Wheel of Fortune is that it's very much having to do with divine timing, right? So I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're meant to be in sort of this position right now where things are sort of, you're having this conflict here because it's creating sort of like a room for you to grow, or freeing up space for another thing to come in, right? So I think what's going on here is that you're realizing here something through this conflict, that something is worth fighting for. And with this worth fighting for card, the Seven of Pentacles is the Seven of Wands is my worth fighting for card. So I'm feeling that you're really coming through with your values, I feel. Because we have the Ten of Pentacles here. So it feels as if like through this conflict, you're learning something about yourself, or about like conflict resolution, something of the sort. And you're healing, because the Three of Swords in the upright talks about pain and it talks about heartache, but the fact that it's in reverse leads me to believe that you guys are experiencing a lot of growth here. So even though this whole situation sucks, especially here with the Ace of Wands in reverse, because the Ace of Wands is wanting to, the Ace of Wands in the upright is a new beginning, and to me, the fact that it's in reverse feels like you're sort of, everything is bland, everything is sort of like gray. You don't really have a whole lot of color in your life. You're lacking that sort of passionate beginning, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're stressed out over whatever this conflict is. But I feel like eventually, like, okay, even though you want this passionate new beginning, and you're not exactly having it right now, like, you have the Fool card, which is basically all the aces put together. So it's like, don't even worry about that. Like, you have something so much better waiting in the wings. And I feel like this in some way has made you feel like you've lost an opportunity of some kind. I'm hearing that for some of you, it may have been even a relationship. Perhaps, like, this feels like family to me. Perhaps there's some fighting at the home, or some family conflict, or family drama, or some family responsibilities. I called this the Ten of Wands earlier, so it could be that you have all these burdens and all these things that you have to take care of, and that's why this passionate beginning hasn't been able to sort of take place. But just do know that at the end of the day, you have this Fool card, which is even better than the Ace of Wands. But that was your reading for this pile. You're more than welcome to go back and choose any other pile. And if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment, because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new Pick a Pile videos on Sundays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that, I hope to see you guys next time for next reading. And now we're moving on to pile number 2. All right. Hi, pile number 2. I'm just going to take this quick time to remind you guys that if you enjoy the reading, the best way for me to know if the reading resonates with you guys is by leaving a like or a comment. But your overall energy here is the Four of Cups here. Now, the Four of Cups is a very interesting card because it talks a lot of times about dissatisfaction. So I feel as if there's some kind of an element of dissatisfaction or wanting more out of your relationships, I feel. And it definitely feels very relationship heavy because we have a lot of wands and we have a lot of cups, right? And the cups are my emotion cards, and especially since we have this Page of Cups, I'm definitely seeing that you guys have a message coming in, some kind of an emotional message. But I'm gonna touch on that a little bit later. I want to keep talking about this Four of Cups here, because we also have the Four of Wands, so there's that symbolism of the 4 and the 4. But as you can see here, this man looks very sort of dejected, very sad, very disappointed at the fact that he only has these 3 cups, and he wants that 4th cup. Right, and oftentimes whenever I get this, I feel like it's someone who wants more out of relationships. So like they're done with the sort of superficial kind of relationships, and they want this really deep, passionate, powerful, igniting kind of relationship. And I feel like that's certainly where you guys are at right now. It's very interesting because I'm almost getting that this may be a person from the past. Because we have the Five of Cups in reverse. Now, the Five of Cups talks about being in a situation where you're sort of urged to look at the bright side, right? Because when the Five of Cups appears, it tells the story of a man who has 5 cups, but 3 of his cups spill over. And sort of like the moral of the story is, okay, he spilled over 3 cups, but if you would just turn around and look at the 2 cups that he has left, he can look on the bright side of things. And I feel like the fact that this is in reverse is almost like you guys were a little bit too optimistic in the past. And I feel like you guys may have been a little bit too quick to forgive for a group of you guys. And for another group of you guys, I feel like you're doing the opposite. Like you're not exactly looking on the bright side, and you're being a little bit overly pessimistic and a little bit not willing to forgive, I feel, for a lot of you guys. So it's like 2 camps of people with this. The people who are overly willing to forgive, and then the people who are very hard to forgive. Sort of like the immovable object meets the unstoppable force kind of an energy. But I feel like either way, you have somebody who's coming in, and I feel like there's kind of been like, for some of you a big separation, but for some of you a little maybe teeny kind of separation, and they're coming back in and they want to say they're sorry. For a lot of you guys, that might actually come attached with a proposal of some kind as well. So they might say, I'm sorry, let's work this out, let's be in a relationship together. That was really weird. I wanted to like sort of vomit out the word I love you, but it didn't really feel right, if that makes sense. So it almost feels like this person might really have strong feelings for you, but they're too shy to tell you, or they don't think that the time is right, or they're not exactly looking for that level of commitment right now, but like maybe around the corner kind of a thing, right? And like the Nine of Cups here is a very powerful card, right? Because the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, which tells me that you're their wish. Like they wish to be with you. And with this Eight of Wands here, the Eight of Wands is sometimes called the arrows of love. So there's this really heavy feeling of like being struck by Cupid, and they just want to come forth, and you know that music that's so generically associated with love that plays, it's like it's going through their head 24/7. I feel like they kind of stay up at night listening to sort of sappy love songs, those like old jazzy times, and like the new contemporary stuff, and they just want to come forth and talk to you and tell you that they're sorry and tell you all these emotions that they have for you. I feel like for some of you guys, you may have been dealing with a player, because I see the Five of Wands here and I see the Nine of Wands. Now the Five of Wands talks about competition, and when that's there, especially because like this reading has been so love heavy, it feels like this person might have been a little bit insecure, especially because they have the Nine of Wands. I feel like they may have been hurt in the past and they just didn't want to sort of relive that energy. And I think that for a lot of you guys, there's like one of two things going on here. But before I touch on that, I do want to say that I have just now noticed this palette on the Page of Cups. Here, it's like an artist palette. I'm not an artist, so I don't know exactly what it's called. So I feel like there might be some degree of like art involved. I feel like this person might want to write you a song or draw you a portrait, something like that. But like I was saying, there's two kinds of people here. The people that have been hurt in the past where they've been in competition and they've sort of been cheated on, or somebody else chose someone else instead of them. And then the other side of the coin where it's like they're a little bit too insecure to be with one person and commit to them, so they had sort of like a plan B on the side, or this was just a just in case for that other person or whatever. And I get that because there's a Seven of Swords here. Now the Seven of Swords talks about really sneaky energy, oftentimes like dishonest and even hurtful. It's called the lying, cheating, stealing card oftentimes, and then we have the Four of Wands here. So for some of you guys, I'm getting that you might even be going through a divorce or might be like married to someone who's like this, because the Four of Wands is heavy, high level commitment. We're talking marriage oftentimes, and I feel like this person is not what they seem to be. And I think that for some, like, I know that I threw out the word cheater, but I don't think that's, like, if I had to sort of put everyone on like a bell curve, like, the most extreme of cases is, like, you are dealing with a cheater. But I think that for a lot of you guys, you're just dealing with someone who wasn't entirely honest, who didn't exactly open up, right? Because this guy's shrouded in mystery. This guy's wearing a cloak. It's like they're covering their face. They don't want you to know the real them. And I feel like the real them, I should say, is this past here, where they've dealt with pain, where they've been hurt, and they are healing. They're trying to heal, but I think that they're very embarrassed about that, and they're not wanting to tell you. But I feel like also for some group of you guys here, they want higher commitment with you, but they're just too afraid to open up. And that's by no means your fault, and that's by no means anything that you should have to deal with, but it just feels like they acknowledge that now wasn't a good time because they're just simply not healed with this Nine of Wands. Also, we have this High Priestess here. It almost feels like somebody went against their intuition here. It feels like something told someone here that it wasn't time to do X. I think that for a lot of you guys, their intuition told them not to come forth to you, or your intuition told you not to go forth with them. But, you know, the stars aligned in such a way that you ended up together in the same room, in the same, like, whatever, and you started striking up a conversation, and then things just kind of unfolded naturally, and they kind of ended naturally. But I feel like it wants to loop back, especially here with this Page of Cups. But whatever the case is, I do want to talk about the numbers real quick, because we have 5 and 5. We have 4 and 4 into the 5 and 5. And then we have 7, 8, 9. So I feel like there's a lot of... I know that they're not exactly from the same suit, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of movement and a lot of quick reciprocation. I definitely... a lot of strong love. Like... if I were to take these cards and just flip them over and pretend that they weren't there, this would be like almost an ideal reading. But the fact that these 3 cards are here tells me that there's something more to this connection. But like I said, the fact that these 3 cards are here also tells me that there's more to this connection. But that was your reading for pile number 2. However, you guys are more than welcome to go back and choose any other pile if you enjoyed. But please consider leaving a like or a comment, because it really helps out the channel. And I love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new Pick a Pile videos on Sundays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that, I hope to see you guys next time, and we get started with pile number 3. All right, pile number 3. I'm just going to take this time to remind you guys that if you enjoy the reading, leave a like or a comment. That's the best way for me to know if this reading resonates with you guys. But I do want to give a heads up that it's a little bit harder to get jumpers with these cards sometimes because they are so big, the cards. But your overall energy here, you have the Page of Pentacles. Now, the Page of Pentacles is actually a really nice energy to have. I think that a lot of you guys are dealing with some kind of stability. I'm getting certainly that this is sort of a work kind of vibe, certainly. The first pile was sort of like family. The second pile was kind of love. And this energy here, your overall energy, is work, right? Now, it's a little bit too early to say if all these cards talk about work, but certainly with this, there's this feeling of you getting some kind of message that involves your stability. So there might be money coming in, there might be somebody who is promoting you at your job, or some kind of a advancement, because I certainly feel like you need it. Not like in a bad way, but like in a Ten of Swords, like trying to lift your burdens kind of a way, if that makes sense. So I do want to talk about the fact that we have the World card right here, right off the bat. This leads me to believe that you guys have really been put through the ringer as of late. For some of you, you guys might be going through your Saturn return, and it's sort of forcing you to evaluate a lot of things and change some things in your life, for sure. But I also see the Three of Pentacles, right? And the Three of Pentacles talks about working together. So we have sort of this concept of working. And it's very interesting that this is like a child that's all alone, taking this almost bouquet-looking thing, like all by themselves. So I feel like that's been you, right? And I know that this is the Ten of Swords, but it really gives off this Ten of Wands kind of feeling. Like the red looks very reminiscent of the Wands to me. So a lot of that energy is coming up, and I feel like you guys have been in a situation where you've been sort of the head honcho for a long time, right? You've been the one that's sort of been keeping down the fort. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you might be in a situation where you're at your house and like everyone else suddenly went jobless and unemployed, and now you're the one that's sort of having to put food on the table, I feel. But because there's this world card, I'm definitely feeling that you guys are actually going to get like help now, because with the world card and the Three of Wands here, I'm definitely feeling like we have this energy of being able to really get a breather, because people are going to be working with you and you're going to be able to exit this cycle of not exactly being able to, because like I'm getting the imagery of having the world on your shoulders. And now it's not just going to be on your shoulders, it's going to be on two other people's shoulders. And it's kind of a thing where it's like three heads are better than one, right? So it's nice that you guys are going to have some help. And then here we have the Knight of Pentacles, right? So it's very important to note that we have the page going into the Knight, which to me really feels as if you guys, sorry if I keep fidgeting around with these cards, but the fact that we have the page going into the Knight tells me that you guys are going to see a lot of progression, and it's going to be a lot of powerful, quick progression too. And then on top of the Knight, we have the Star card here. So I feel like whatever intentions you guys set right now are going to be very powerful. You guys, whatever your wish is, and I feel like your wish is kind of geared towards stability, especially with these things, or with these pages. Sorry, pages, the page and the Knight of Pentacles, that you guys are going to see a lot of improvement in your financial sector. But the Star card also lets us know that whatever it is that you want to do in regards to your wishes, if you want to manifest something else, now is a great time to really put that in your kind of like a manifestation journal. If you guys want to manifest something in your life, I really recommend writing things down right now. Sort of setting your intentions, letting things grow. This energy feels very scattered, very almost chaotic even. So I feel like you guys might be having a very, I don't want to say difficult time, but it feels very, very scattered. And I do want to note here that we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Emperor. Now, I normally don't really talk a whole lot about the significance of the numbers of the major arcana, because the cards themselves usually have a whole lot to say. But, right, I do want to point out the significance of the 5 doubling into the 10. So I feel like everything is kind of going to like double for you right now. So it's like whatever energy you put into a situation, you're going to receive twice as much. And honestly, you might even receive 10 times as much, because you have the 10, and the Star and the World. Like, these are very powerful energies. Now, it's very interesting that we have the Hierophant here in reverse. So I feel like you guys might be very beneficial in anything that isn't exactly like traditional. So if you guys are doing anything, any kind of work that involves the internet, or anything that's kind of new that hasn't really been done before, I feel like you guys are going to see a lot of progress in that. I feel like you guys are going to find your niche, and you're going to be able to have this Wheel of Fortune in the sense that you're going to be very powerful and very lucky in that, because the Wheel of Fortune has fortune in the name, yes, but I feel like more than that, it's like luck is on your side. And I feel like almost even like kind of as an afterthought, you might have love on your mind. I feel like with all this abundance and success, you're going to see any kind of pain that you've been through with this 10 of Swords, because the 10 of Swords is betrayal and heartbreak and heartache and headache and all kinds of aches and pains. But I feel like that's all going to be over, because, you know, the cards go from 1 to 10, 10 being the last, and then you have the ace right here. So I feel like you're going to see love again. I feel like you guys are going to look at love with a different sort of view. And I want to point out that we have sort of these 3 baby people, and then we have the 1 baby here with the 3 pentacles. So pentacles are here, 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 here. Like, there's a lot of money coming in. I feel like a lot of you guys might even put money away in books, and now you're gonna go through your old bookshelf and just see like, oh, I have all this money that and you didn't even know about. And beyond even just like the Ace of Cups, we have the the Knight, not the Knight, the other K word, the King of Cups. Right, so we have not only the completion from like the 10 going back to the ace, but we have the king going back to the Ace of Cups. So we're going to see a lot of love coming up for you guys. And like I was saying earlier with this page, it's a message of stability. So I feel like you guys are going to come forth and see a message of love that's very stable and long lasting. And with all this pentacle energy, like I said, we have the Page and the Knight and the World card and the Star card. Like, whatever it is that you want with the Wheel of Fortune, like, if you guys are wanting love, it's going to come forth and it's going to be very stable. And I feel like in the past, you have had kind of partners or situations where it wasn't like the kind of level of commitment that you wanted. But here we have the 4 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Pentacles to me always talks about keeping resources to yourself. And a lot of times it's a very selfish kind of card, but I don't feel like that's the energy at all here. With this 4 of Pentacles, it's like you've earned what you have and it's yours. I feel like you're going to have a really stable job that pays you well, and you're going to be able to pay your dues and have nice things that you want, and you're going to have a nice stable partner who cares about you and doesn't want to fool around with anyone else or anything like that. I feel like you may have had some of that in the past with this 10 of Swords, but it's not here anymore, especially since you have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is a mature person. Also, I do want to point out that the King of Cups is water signs such as Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, so that might be important for some of you guys. And also, what I didn't point out before was that the Star card and the Hierophant represent Aquarius and Taurus, respectively. Those are both fixed signs with Scorpio, so we have like 3 of the 4 fixed signs. The other one being Leo. But all in all, I'm seeing a lot of stability. So if you guys have felt sort of in the air or chaotic or needed to be grounded or whatever, now is a great time for you to really have your feet firmly planted on the ground. But that was your reading for pile number 3. You're more than welcome to go back and choose any other pile. But if you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment, because it really helps out the channel, and I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new pick a pile videos on Sundays, but in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.